Welcome, friends! We're back, ranking all of the extra and 6 Rangers from each season. In our last video, we left off with the super sleek Silver Ranger and the absolutely epic Magna Defender. Next up, in Lightspeed Rescue, we got the Titanium Ranger, which is some kind of top secret military project, as is the entire Lightspeed Rescue team. The Titanium powers are shown off to be too powerful for even the Red Ranger. But then in the middle of the night, who would later be revealed as the Pink Ranger's long-lost brother, and their captain's son, breaks in and steals the morpher. Of course, he's another bad boy who works for the villains at first. His main weapon, the Titanium Blaster, is a gun that doubles as an axe. But it's not even half as cool as the OG Black Ranger's power axe. But he does teleport in with a bang. Bro comes in hot like a meteor and craters the earth around him. Naturally, he's strong enough to 1v5 the whole squad, but then they get new weapons right on the spot and drop the hammer on him. And just before they take him out for good, the captain tells him to stop, 'cause that's his son. And the backstory on this is that when he was a child, his dad rolled his car off a cliff in some horrific car accident. But somehow, they all end up hanging from a tree root. Then the main demon general comes up and offers to save the boy, if he can keep him. So he grows up with the baddies, and then also has some kind of resentment to his father for that. I feel like they could have come up with literally anything else, and it would have been better than this. But because Bro is unstable, he just goes out and caps off in public like it's 2025. After critically injuring half of downtown, he goes and sulks near the cliff of that fateful day, to which his father arrives to give him a little talking to. But Bro flips out and tackles him over the cliff, so they can parallel that scene. But the route is about to give this time, so Daddy lets go. And in a moment of redemption, the bad boy saves his father. But then tears off without facing any charges, because he's a nepo baby, I guess. So after going back home to literally hell, he tells his demon daddy that he don't want to inherit the Dark Kingdom anymore, and goes on to join the good guys. But in a dream somehow, Demon Daddy returns to give him this snake tattoo, which moves up his back a little bit more each time he morphs, until finally it would reach his neck and take him out. And that's kind of a cool idea, but it feels completely unrelated to this theme of the Titanium Ranger or anything else in this show. It's not like he gets his powers from it, and his Zord isn't a snake either. I mean, this is Fisher-Price Tonka Truck Rangers. All the Zords are emergency rescue vehicles in this one. I don't know what they were thinking with this. You could have just said his powers are too painful and dangerous to control, and that would have added stakes without this stupid nonsense. The Titanium Ranger Zord is a space shuttle that transforms into a standalone fighter, called the Solar Megazord, because the whole thing is like one big solar panel, and he gotta fly it into the sun to power it up. But he can swap modes on the fly, doing the whole Robotech thing. And its finishing move is, of course, just blasting out all that stored up solar energy. The Titanium Ranger is almost cool. There's a lot of good ideas here that are all executed poorly. He almost got a cool design going, especially with that V-shaped mask. And Titanium Ranger sounds cool, but his weapon and Zord are kind of lame. And that snake tattoo is especially lame. Zooming over to Time Force, we get the Quantum Ranger, who is a second Red Ranger for some reason, and doesn't look special either. He's got like a standard gunblade thing as his signature weapon, but like, most Rangers got that just as a sidearm. His Zord is hilariously called the Quantosaurus Rex. Fantastic name. And it's everything you'd want it to be. Then it can also swap into a warrior mode. But its finishing move is launching its fists, which is kind of lame, but it's cute in this case, because when it swaps into that warrior mode, those shoulder cannons become the arms. I'm gonna say the Quantum Ranger is cool, but it's not great. But it's definitely better than the Titanium Ranger. At least it doesn't have some lame origin story. It just about doesn't even have an origin story altogether. The Quantum Morpher is just randomly discovered by archaeologists, and then everyone including the baddies rushes over to it. Security guard bro just so happens to be the one who finds it first, and ta-da! I mean, that's all it needs to be. Not every anti-hero needs a tragic backstory and a snake tattoo. Alright, so in Wild Force, we got this guy, and it's exactly what it looks like. Bro is a werewolf, straight out of Twilight. An ancient warrior who was cursed 3,000 years ago by the very power needed to defeat the big bad.
Evil spirit of the wall, fill me with absolute power!
So he's a feral animal while controlled by his curse. But when the moon miraculously gets eclipsed, he briefly turns back to normal so we can learn about his mysterious and tragic backstory. Because you know they always got one. And naturally, all we gotta do to save him is destroy his evil Zord, which holds the curse. Which in this case is a fully combined Megazord, because in Wild Force, they be collecting Zords like Pokemon. But after defeating it and breaking the curse, he loses his powers, but then shows heroism by fighting bravely or stupidly while outmatched in the next episode, to which his Zords and powers return to him, but without the curse. Naturally, he's the Wolf Ranger, or the Lunar Wolf Ranger. But I feel like the paw pads on his fingers crosses a very distinct line between cool and furry. His signature weapon is another gun sword stick thing.
Sniper mode!
But this boy got one hell of a special move. Now I gotta know where the inspiration for this came from. I know a lot of Power Ranger ideas are just randomly drawn from a hat and put together, but this is next level. And it's a stun, so the opponent has to stand there helplessly while he sets all that up. And he also shoots his Zords off like Lunar Pool to summon them. I feel like that's just unnecessary. I know Power Rangers is a silly show, but this is immersion breaking even for children. His Zord certainly got an epic finisher though. There's parts about the Wolf Ranger that are kind of cool, but then there's moments like this, and it just feels like it's for a certain crowd. Extra Dungeon is an all-new webcomic written and drawn by yours truly. There's cool animations and lots of little secrets to discover. You need to check this out. It's totally free. Plus, there's a shop with some sweet merch on there. And if you buy anything, it supports me directly. But you can also become a friend of the channel by becoming a member, or by joining me on Patreon. You could even choose the game for my next awesome video. And if you haven't done it already, subscribe and like this video, because we both know that you do. Okay, let's get back to it.
Okay!
Alright, so Ninja Storm is a bit tricky because we only start with 3 Rangers, and then the other 2 of the main 5 start off as bad guys, and are duplicate colors. So maybe these are extra Rangers. They spend like half the season just fighting with them. The main 3 are the Wind Rangers, and the other 2 are Thunder Gang. They're adopted brothers who were raised to be ninja warriors, whose adopted parents were murdered, to which they were then groomed by the baddies, and grew up believing that the Wind Gang did that drive-by. So now that they're all grown up into proper Rangers, it's on site, for like 10 episodes straight. They got that Force Lightning, so you know they're real strong, and evil. They win that 2v3 real easy, so they're either a whole lot stronger or just more experienced.
This is so easy it's almost boring. I thought they'd at least put up a fight.
They both got the same staff, because they from the same gang, but then they each got their own signature blasters that they can also combine for a finishing move. And those thunder staves can also pick up some monsters and cook them like a lightning rod. Those thunder staves can actually do a whole variety of things, like fold up into a Castlevania-style boomerang cross, or some kind of shield barrier thing. So they're stylized to look like beetles, and their Zords are off-road beetle monster trucks. The red one is more like a tank though, and naturally, they combine to form their own Megazord. One of the quirks about the Zords in this season is that they do this Bakugan surprise egg thing to pull weapons from. And the Thunder Zord can do that too. The brain guy back at the dojo sends them gear through the Wi-Fi power grid on his toy computer, because it's 2003 and nobody knows how that stuff works yet. This computer thing might almost be cool too, if it didn't have that giant ninja button in the middle of the keyboard. But the Thunder Rangers are cool, if they count as extra Rangers. Eventually they figure out that the baddies they've been working for are actually the ones responsible for their tragic backstory, and that sets them on their path to joining the heroes. Now you already knew the computer guy was gonna be the 6th Ranger, but he got a blast to the past to get his powers. Good thing they just so happen to have a magic scroll lying around that'll do that. So he goes back to a time before his mom died and his father was turned into a guinea pig, because that's where we start off in the present with this one. His mom has the samurai powers, but in a twist of fate, he ends up with them, as his dad's brother, or his uncle, reveals himself as the main villain, to which then time runs out.
I'm out of time!
And then just shows up in the present in his helicopter Zord. Gotta work those story beats in with the Japanese footage we want to recycle. But the blades of the helicopter are supposed to be like a shuriken, and it actually uses them as an attack. That's great. The helicopter can also swap into a warrior mode without needing to combine with anyone, and it also does the Kinder Joy surprise egg thing. The Samurai Ranger got a good look. It's very reminiscent of the OG Green Ranger. The vest is sharp, and even though he's a samurai, it still looks cohesive with the rest of the Ninja Rangers, especially because he's got a strong shuriken theme. Giving the 6th Ranger a gold vest is a great way to make him feel special. It's a strong design, but does he wear it better than Reptile though? Green and gold is just a strong color combo. But then he has to do this.
Super Samurai Mode!
Super Samurai Mode drops the vest, which is made to look like a training weight, and then his head flips like a toy. And then his Samurai Saber, as they call it, does a lightning strike finishing move.
Excuse me, but it's a saber! A samurai saber!
I think it's interesting that he calls it Super Samurai Mode, because that's literally the name of another season and power level that we get several years later. But the Green Samurai Ranger looks great, and even though Super Samurai Mode is a literal joke, it's still cool.